Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Empowering Industry Podcast. I'm your host, Charlie Matthews, and today I'm wearing red, not because we just came out of February and all the love that was happening around the Heart Walk, but also it's Teadit colors, right? So we've got a special guest from Teadit, and Carlos, jump on here and introduce yourself.
Hi, Charlie. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a big pleasure to be here. Thank you for the red. Uh, my name is Carlos Girão. I'm a mechanical engineer with a master's in mechanical engineering. I've been with Teadit for 18 years, so pretty much my whole career. And I currently hold the position of technical director for the group.
Wonderful. And I bet that your closet has a lot of red in it, like mine does, just because of
Yes.
the brand. Y'all did such a great job of branding and having that Teddit name out there. But today I want to learn a little bit more about you. So why engineering?
Why engineering? Oh, I guess I didn't have that many options when I was out of school. I mean, when you're good at math, and that's when you're good at math, you're pretty much not good at the other stuff like the Portuguese or language or grammar. So say, well, engineering, it's where you get pushed. So I went for engineering, and then mechanical was more about the passion. Playing with cars, playing with building stuff, and taking things apart and trying to rebuild it. And I said, well, let's try mechanical engineering, kind of see where that goes. Because honestly, when I went into engineering, I had no clue what it was.
Yeah, somebody just said, "Hey, you're good at math, you're good at science, whatever. You're good at math for you," and pointed you in that direction, right?
Yep.
Well, we're glad that you chose it. It seems like it's been a really great career for you. Um, what do you think, when you look back, right? You kind of graduated from the university. What led you to kind of find a spot in industry?
Well, that's that's actually interesting. So I was just out of college. I did my master's, so I only knew academia, and I was trying to place myself into the market. I was doing master's degree in mechanical engineering, so I saw a position for R&D. I was like, that's research. That's kind of what I do. Let me go for it. So I applied for TEDit, and then I found out I was going to be interviewed by Vega. Vega is like gasketing industry guru. He was going to interview me, and I'm searching, Googling, and found out he wrote a book. I was like, oh my God, I better study this book. And then I was really good at studying. So I picked Vega's whole book and I read from front to end, memorized, learned how to do the exercises. And then I finally got my interview in TED, and Vega was there. I was like, oh boy, I'm ready. I read his book. I'm going to nail this. So he's interviewing me, and I'm waiting for the time to just throw at him, oh, I read your book. And eventually I had the opportunity to tell him, hey, you know your book? I read it. I prepared myself for this interview. And he just told me, you wasted a lot of your time, boy. Your position you're applying is for braided packing R&D. There isn't one single line in that book about braided packing. I was like, oh boy.
That is hilarious, but it also probably set you up for success and growth and kind of moving throughout the company.
I got something right. He hired me. So
Absolutely. And we're glad that they did. Well, okay, so you started off there. In which I guess product line did you really start with?
So I started in TED as research and development for our braided product line. So it's a braided packing line. And so I was pretty much developing new products, developing low emission packings. And I stayed there for maybe 2, 3 years. And then I moved up to operations and for the braided packing plant. So I became the braided packing plant manager, which made it really easy for me. I knew how to make the products, I knew how to design the products, then I had to manage them being made. So that was kind of the beginning, my first 5, 6 years in TED. And then you're saying about the exchange, I got sent to India. So I got transferred to India to manage our operations in there. And I lived in India for 3 years before coming back to TED, and then again on a technical role back in Brazil.
Yeah, so again, like that foundation was set there, The mechanical engineering, I think, is so important for our industry to kind of understand how things work because you can't just, make the packing and not understand how the whole process works, right? So definitely important there. And and on the operational and management side, so it's kind of like an engineer managing this workflow. So how did you jump into that kind of management piece? Because you've got other people kind of under you at that point
Yeah,
or
yeah.
across from you, however you want to say it best.
So first we're R&D. R&D is like a scientist job, right? Kind of feed me from under the door. We don't want to see people, kind of things. And then all of a sudden, I went to operations, and we had a plant here. It was 70 people, and it was for me it was a big change, but it was really really nice. I mean, having the chance and now not only looking at products but interacting with people and working with KPIs and improving production, I kind of fascinated me. I said, well, this is really interesting. Nothing that I had done before. Okay, took my master's degree, so I was kind of on MBA on administration, so I was kind of ready for it, but only on the study background, right? And but then I had an amazing 3 years. It was very, very, very rewarding. It was very challenging, but then very rewarding because it's different when you do a product and you see your product being sold to the market. You get all hyped up. Oh, look at that, we made it. Now, when you are in operations, you have not like this big jumps of satisfaction that happen once in a year, 3 times in a year. You have like daily satisfactions from the people that you're working with. So it's your colleague that calls you for his child's birthday. It's somebody that needed your help, somebody that needed your support. You make small improvements on operations. It's smaller but continuous gains every day. It's I liked it. To be honest
Yeah,
with you, I liked it a lot.
a very rewarding career, it sounds like. And
Oh,
so many different things and innovations that you have been a part of. I'm curious what you're working on now. I know that there's a lot there that Teadit is doing. So, kind of like in the hydrogen space, the electro space. Tell me a little bit more about that.
well, hydrogen is the hot topic of the moment, right? It's for the sealing industry. Everybody's being challenged by it, but as you dig, it is a challenge. But as you get to know it, maybe it's not that big of a challenge. We're used to sealing helium, and helium is not that far from hydrogen. Here we have done a lot of research with. We're almost coming up with a book of testing on gasketing for hydrogen. We built a couple of electrolyzers, and we've been testing a whole bunch of different products in that application so that we learn and we acquired a lot of knowledge so that we can share with our customers and our end users a little bit of what we learned because it's different than sealing what we are used to. When you talk about common bolted joints, we talk one gasket, two flanges. Now, when we talk about electrolyzers, we have stack of gaskets. So we're talking about hundreds of gaskets in series. Do 100 of a gasket in series creep in the same way as a single gasket? And
I
there
don't
was a
know
lot
the
of research.
answer, but you do. So that's wonderful. Okay, so y'all are creating that wealth of knowledge, kind of back to your roots of research, putting that all together and have the background because you've been working with all types of fluids as we move forward. And I think that's really one of the things that I love about this is, I don't know, I know enough to be dangerous about industry in general is what I say. But knowing that you have to test the sealing process for this to even work, again, we're talking about the whole system, right?
Yep. But, I mean, when we talk about, we try to see or to place ourselves not just a product giver, but as a technology provider. So we need to understand really well all the spaces that we are in. And that's why today I'm responsible for the group's technical area and R&D. So that's a lot of what we do. Sometimes we're not only creating products, but we are creating knowledge that we can share with our end users. This year on PVP, we're gonna present a paper for low emission packing comparing how it performs on hydrogen, on helium, and on methane. Because now before we only had to manage helium and methane. Americans do talk methane, Europeans like to talk helium. Now we place hydrogen in the middle. So okay, let's test with everything and draw comparisons so that everybody can watch and see and draw their own conclusions.
I love that about Teadit. They're always educating. They're always at different events, speaking and kind of giving their knowledge to the better of the industry. Carlos, is there anything else that you want us to kind of know? And I'm, super curious, I guess, how you stay motivated and excited about your job. It seems like I would love to just hang around you because I would be excited about industry all the time. How do you stay that way?
I tell everybody I have the best job in the world. I have like mechanicals engineer Disneyland. If you see my lab here, it's a whole bunch of different equipment. And whenever we don't have equipment, we build one to test it. So it's rewarding to be creating things that nobody has ever created. Here I have a team of 14 engineers working with me. Uh, Five of them have master's degree, three of them are PhDs. So it's highly technical people that have amazing ideas, and we kind of have to manage which ideas we get to follow because we don't have time and resources to follow all the ideas. So every day is a new day here. It's very, very, very rewarding. And then again, once you make a product and you put on the market, and then you just see somebody shelf and it's selling, that's probably the whoa for a technical person that is working on product development. And while we do that, remember we do sealing, right? And we're helping, even if it's a small part, build a better world. And I, I go back home proud of what I did, and I can always tell my kids, hey, that is doing something nice. So while I have fun, I still do good. How come it's not being motivated by that?
It doesn't get much better than that. You're right. Well, hey, I can't let you go without asking a little rapid fire questions. Super curious. What is your favorite book?
Oh, it's called, I don't know if it has an English version, but it's called Theo's Trip.
Okay. And what about your favorite music?
Right now, I have a little kid. All about TPZs because that's all they listen.
I love it. I love it. Okay. What is the best advice you've ever received?
A saddle horse does not ride in front of you twice.
Okay. Okay. Now, as you're kind of over these engineers and all, what advice do you give them?
I think the same advice that was given to me, which meant opportunities appear to everybody, which is a saddle horse. And you should grab the opportunities once they appear. It doesn't matter how big the challenge looks like, just go for it. That's what I did when I went for India. And and sometimes we turn down the opportunities and then later complain that we didn't have why is my career this way? I didn't have the chance to do something different. Maybe you did, it just didn't grab it when it walked past you. So I would say grab the opportunities that you have.
I
You
love it.
learn, in worst case, you learn from it.
Yes, for sure. I mean, that's what we should do, right? If we're not failing, we're learning the whole time. So I love that. Well, Carlos, what a pleasure to get to spend some time with you today. I have been to the facility and I think it's super impressive. And so if y'all ever get the chance to visit one, definitely do that and share this episode. I mean, if you know somebody in engineering, they will just be so excited to kind of learn from Carlos, but just to like hear that energy and excitement about the work that we do. It is vital to life. All of this equipment, we wouldn't have the comforts that we have without you. So thanks for your time today, Carlos. And for everybody else, until next time, be empowering.
Thank you so much, Charlie. So good talking to you.